What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tuck Rule Takes, the best Patriots podcast out there, episode 32, the Devin McCourty episode.
Yup,
The,
I
the,
was
the
waiting for
future
that.
Hall of Fame Devin McCourty episode. I am Mike Sullivan. With me, as always, he's got the cowboy hat on, my Patriots partner, Liam McDade. Liam, how you doing?
There I was. What is going on, Mike? How are we today? I don't know where the cowboy hat came from, but I threw on this kind of rednecky shirt, so I parted it with a cowboy hat.
I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting the southern the southern. Howdy doody, ladies and gentlemen.
We gonna talk about some New England Patriots today.
What's going on? And yeah, we are. So, yeah. I mean, let's just get right into it. This episode is going to be all about the Patriots. We will have this episode and the next episode, and the third episode from now is going to be when free agency starts. So we figured what we could do is break down the offensive side and the defensive side, see who the Patriots have on their roster now, who they should add in free agency. We threw in some trades in there as well. The only thing that I don't think we're really going to touch on is any of like the potential draft additions or like any specific ones, like if you think that there's someone, we can always just say, I think they could draft, so-and-so, but we're not going to do any sort of deep dive on that this week, at least. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So we got Patriots offense. I want to leave. Do you want to leave the most intriguing position for the last one, the wide receiver?
Yeah,
you want to leave that to the end?
That only seems fair because that's going to be the big talking point. So we'll save the
the
piece de resistance.
We'll start with let's just get this one out of the way. Tight ends right now. The Patriots have Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith. I think Devin Asiasi is still on the roster. When we were kind of discussing it really quick early, I told you, I was like, I didn't put anything for tight ends. I don't think there's any need for it. I didn't even take the time to really look to see who the free agents were. I don't see them moving on. I'm assuming you feel the same way for many of these people.
Yeah, I have no reason to think otherwise. I mean, look at any of the other teams in the league. You'd be hard pressed to give me a better tight end combo than the one we got. I don't care if Jonnu Smith did catch basically 5 passes all year. He's still capable of catching more than that. You and me were waiting for the blow up game. It didn't happen. Now we're just waiting for it next year. But I like these tight ends. I think that they haven't even scratched the potential here. Don't do anything with this. Leave as is.
Yeah. And I think that's probably, I mean, you have to, anybody who thinks they're going to move on is either, you're just kind of playing, devil's advocate. Yeah. Or you're one of those people, like you said, Jonnu Smith only caught, 20 something balls last year. Like what happens if they cut him? What's their cap savings? Patriots fans are obsessed with cutting good players just to get cap save it, which like,
they learned from Bill. Bill also loves just cutting players. He likes to spice things up. We saw what happened with Cam Newton.
True. I mean, yeah, thank God he did that. That's all I gotta say. I know you feel the same way as I do about that. But yeah, no, they're not doing anything with the tight end. I think if anything, the tight end, both of them, Jonnu Smith included, is going to be utilized more. New offense, new offensive coordinator, even though there technically isn't one. All that fun stuff. So that'll be great. We'll go to another position that I don't think they'll make too many moves at, but they might have to do something depending on what happens. Running backs or fullbacks. So let me just list who's on the roster, who's a free agent, who's an unrestricted free agent, and then we will embrace debate, as they say. Running backs right now, Damian Harris under contract, Ramondre Stevenson, JJ Taylor as well. James White is a free agent. Brandon Bolden is a free agent, and Jakob Johnson, the only fullback on the Patriots roster, is a restricted free agent. What are they doing at running back? Because they got some free agents they gotta do something with.
Yeah, so I said this earlier in the year. I think you kind of like the idea. He had a great year. I hate to do it, but we move on from Damian Harris. His value is at an all-time high right now. His production last year, those touchdown numbers alone can get us supreme value for him. It's the Ramondre Stevenson train, baby. It's his time to shine. court him onto the stage and let him run over defenses. It's the natural progression of life. First, we had the big, strong father. He raised up his son. Now the father's he's still in good shape, but he's starting to wither. He's toward the end. He's on the way down the hill. Now we hand off. The son is becoming the man of the house. It is Damian Harris out the door. Ramondre time, baby. Completely commit to it, and we can get a lot of benefits back if we get rid of him.
All right, I'm gonna stop you here. We will continue to talk about the running backs. I hate everything about that. Let me just tell you why. Wait, so you think that they're gonna do something with them in the offseason? Not during the season. You think?
Yes, I think they trade him. They trade him this offseason.
No,
they don't even give him a chance to touch the field this season. Because why, with his production, what was it? First in the league in touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. Second? No, he was second behind Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think he was tied for second or third or one of those. Yeah.
He was definitely at second anyway. But those touchdown numbers alone are insane. You can get a top level talent or a great pick for him. And that's just the natural way of running backs. We've seen this before. DeMarco Murray breaks the record, has the most 100-yard games consecutively out the door for him. Emmitt Smith, Super Bowl champion, blah, 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 multiple records, multiple Super Bowls. Boom, you're going to Arizona. We've seen this before. Running backs have a killer season. They ship them out. It's the natural order of things. Running backs don't have that shelf life. And Bill knows this most of all. This motherfucker cut Corey Dillon. He doesn't mind. He doesn't give a shit about Damian Harris. He got rid of Curtis Martin. Damian Harris is nothing to him. Nothing. Like clipping toenails. That's how he thinks about the toenails he cuts off more than he thinks about Damian Harris.
Damian Harris is due $1.8 million next year. So
yeah, so much.
He's an attractive trade piece, but you think that Stevenson is ready to take the load, the full on, because you got to think right now it's probably Damian Harris 60-40 going into the year, assuming that Stevenson and Harris both stay. Now, again, throughout the year, who knows if one of them outplays the other, if they stay, I don't know. But going into it, you got to think it's 60-40 Harris and Stevenson there. First of all, why if you're only paying him 1.8 million, I get what you're saying where you gotta so you don't think that even after this year, you don't think he's even going to get a second contract then, Damian Harris, because of Stevenson?
Not with the Patriots.
Okay. Well, if
that's, I mean, why wouldn't you? We've seen the potential. He shines.
The more you talk about it, the more I see it as a possibility. I don't like it. I don't want it to happen. I hope it doesn't happen. But Stevenson,
don't get attached to the name. This happens with every running back.
I just
look at any running back in history. Yeah, even LaDainian Tomlinson went to the Jets. It happens.
Yeah. See, so okay, so I have two different ways to think about this. I don't want him to go because I do think that he's really good. I think him and Stevenson gives you a top 3 backfield in the league right now.
Yep.
But if you're not going to give him that second year, that second contract, this is kind of the year you have to trade him unless you're just going to let him walk.
And that's what I'm saying. But I've been saying this since halfway through the season. When Damian Harris was balling, I'm like, the preseason was all I needed to see, and that sounds ridiculous. But when I saw Ramondre
preseason was really
good. Really, really good in 2 games, 4 tubs. Hell, if he had played 4 games, he would have had 40 tubs. God knows, he's unbelievable. That man can tote the rock. I never passed a math class in my life, but I'm telling you, this man can tote the rock.
So say Harris gets dealt. I don't know what he gets dealt for, who he gets dealt for, anything, picks, that doesn't matter. Say he gets dealt. They got to add another running back to split time with Stevenson because they're not going to have
another running back. We have like 5 and James White coming back if we re-sign him.
Well, okay. Okay, exactly. So that leads to my follow-up then. So you think that Damian Harris is gone. Ramondre Stevenson is going to be in the starting role. You got to assume JJ Taylor takes on more of some sort of role there. There's a reason he's there. They like
splits pass catching if they bring back White.
Yeah, he can run a little bit too. So you think out of their free agents for the running backs, James White, Brandon Bolden, who do you think? And I think we talked about it with Bolden, but kind of refresh my memory. Out of those two, do you think one of them comes back? Two of them comes back? Because I think we both assume that James White is going to be coming back.
Yes. Well,
better.
I wanna say Bolden's gone, but I mean, he's hung around forever.
He always finds a way.
Yeah, I probably said Bolden's gone the last 5 years, and I didn't even realize he was on the team like 3 years ago or whatever. I think he had cancer or something, so he was away from the team. Yep. So that makes sense.
Yep.
But so I like to think that, or I believe Bolden would be gone. But would I be surprised if he hangs around? No, he's one of those Patriots that's just always going to hang around.
Yeah. So I mean,
I got to say both of them, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think that both of them end up coming back. The only way James White doesn't come back, I think, is if he retires, and I haven't seen any of that anywhere. James White's going to come back. So
two Patriots retiring at the top of their game. Tom Brady did it. Now friggin'.
I mean, come on, James White. If he comes back when he's healthy, he is one of the best pass catching backs out of the backfield. So I think James White definitely comes back. I think Brandon Bolden, he's left before. He went to Miami for like a year or 2 years, I think. Actually, I think it was just the 1 year. But
clearly a terrible time because he came back. But
I mean, no one wants to go to Miami. Deshaun Watson doesn't even want to go to Miami. No. But I think I'm going to say James White comes back. Brandon Bolden's gone. I don't see him showing back up. I know what he means to the team with special teams. He filled in really well this year, but I think JJ Taylor makes the step, takes that next step there, kind of to be James White's, little protege. James White probably signs like a 2-year deal, maybe a 1-year deal that I think he retires afterwards. Now, so say right now, so now we got to do different things. So in your world, Damian Harris is gone. You got Ramondre Stevenson as your lead back. JJ Taylor and James White are the only two running backs on the roster that you have.
Yep. Which is more than enough. Most teams only use 1, 2.
Yeah, but the Patriots. I mean, right now going into the year, they had 5. They always seem to use a fair amount. Do you think the Patriots go get anybody in free agency? Because the list of the people that I had, I only put like 4 people down because they're not going to try to sign someone to be any sort of starter or anything like that. It's going to be kind of like change of pace type of back. There's Melvin Gordon, Giovanni Bernard, JD McKissick, or Duke Johnson. Those are really the only notable ones that I could see the Pats going after. Do you think any of them come here?
Did you say Duke Johnson?
Duke Johnson, yeah.
I would do anything for Duke Johnson in red, white, and blue. Absolutely anything. I love that. I love it. He's perfect. He's the perfect player. Greatest running back I've ever seen.
He can catch out of the backfield. He can run out of the backfield. He can do what you want. I think that'd be an interesting one because it does kind of depend on what happens with James White if James White doesn't come back.
But they do kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, similar. So I don't know. I just see them signing some or going in there with an abundance of people.
I think if they sign anyone, it's one of those pass catching running backs, which would be the last couple you said there, because Melvin Gordon, he's a premier back. He's a stud. He's a big baller. He's going to demand a big contract. He's
old. That's why I put him on there. Shit. Yeah. I figured maybe he's 28.
Is he old?
Yeah. 28. I think he'll be 29 when the season starts.
Spring chicken. Melvin Gordon's a bad man, though.
He is, but I could see him say he doesn't get any contract he wants. The Patriots are like, hey, come here on a 1-year, like $5 million deal, with incentives and all that. Yeah. So, I mean, he can catch out of the backfield. So,
yes, he can. I think it's more likely a Gio, JD, or Duke Johnson signing. Yeah. I mean, Duke Johnson, like I can't say it enough. I'd grease myself up, shave my head, and break dance down Lansdowne Street. It'd be game time.
I didn't know you loved Duke Johnson so much.
Do you know where he went to school?
Oh God. Okay. Yeah.
That would
makes
be
sense.
the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
University of
Yeah.
Miami,
Yep.
all-time leading rusher, baby. He really can't do any wrong. He's
That makes
perfect.
sense.
If he could have killed Kennedy, I want him on my team. I don't care.
So I don't think he would be welcome in Massachusetts because Kennedy was a pretty popular guy here.
Bring him in. Sneak him in. Fugitive. I don't care. Duke Johnson, Patriots. Now that I realize he's a free agent, I'm not going to stop saying that until the season comes around, and whether they sign him or not, I'm going to continuously preach Duke Johnson. You made a terrible mistake even bringing his name up. You shouldn't. He's the greatest player I've ever seen.
I put it on the list. I think that's a good one. Yeah. I think Duke Johnson, to be honest, it's either Duke Johnson or Gio Bernard, I think. Because
Gio seems like a Patriot to me.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I was just trying to sit there in my head. I was like, has he like been on the team for like a year or like practice squad or something? Or maybe he just always felt like he should be a Patriot. So I don't think
Bill's got spite in him because he played with Tom Brady. He's going to be like, come over here.
Exactly. Yep. I think it's gonna be kind of whatever happens with Leonard Fournette too, because Fournette's a free agent as well, but I see him getting a bigger contract. I don't think the Patriots are going to outbid anybody. This is kind of what I was bringing up with Al too, when Al was saying last week, when Al was saying that the Pats could definitely get Juju and these players and everything. I don't think that they're going to outbid anybody at this point. I think any big name guy they're going to get is going to be someone on a prove it deal or an older guy taking like a small money deal or on trades. Those are the only way. So I could see Gio or Duke Johnson doing that. Duke Johnson would be interesting, I think, because I know I would love it. He is good. I don't think he's staying with the Browns. I mean,
good. No, he's not on the Browns. He was on the Texans, and then what was the team he was on?
I thought he went back. I thought he went back for some reason.
No, he was on. Damn, life of me. I watched
that just goes to show you
that he played too, and I still don't know.
Yeah,
I gotta look this up. It's gonna haunt me.
Yeah, Duke Johnson. I think J.D. McKissick. He was
on the Finns. God, that's so disappointing.
Oh no, poor dude. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, he'll. Okay, so I think I'm all aboard. Yeah, I think I'm all aboard the Duke Johnson one or Gio. J.D. McKissick and Melvin Gordon, I feel like they might get outbid on those two because McKissick is still people still think that he can be like a lead back. Really? People still like him. Yeah.
I think he's a great third down.
Yeah, but people think that I saw somewhere, it was a week ago or something. I forget who tweeted. Someone said something. They were like, "There's certain football circles, J.D. McKissick might, or he was like in the list of players who might have a surprisingly hot market or whatever." But yeah, Melvin Gordon, like you said, though, he still has that name. Someone's going to overpay to get him. But so you think going in, the Pats are going to have Ramondre Stevenson, Duke Johnson, we'll put him out there, J.J. Taylor, and James White. That's who you think that they're going to have.
Sounds like an unstoppable backfield to me.
Yeah. See, I want to just roll with Harris, Stevenson, Taylor, and James White because I do think that Brandon Bolden's gone. But then I also don't. There's no point if you have Damian Harris. There's really no point in getting Duke. Or anybody. See, shit. I don't know.
Yeah, if you keep Damian Harris, all this is mute.
I'm going to say I think that Brandon Bolden and James White both come back. I think Damian Harris comes back as well. I think Damian Harris
run it back completely.
Harris gets traded in the first half of the season. Yeah. The first, he gets traded early, I think. Yeah. Or what would be crazy if Damian Harris got cut, but I don't see that.
Wouldn't that be wild? Yeah, no, we don't want that though. You can't do that after he scored all these touchdowns. You get something for him.
Yeah, you definitely can. And I think I didn't even think about trading Damian Harris because, I love Damian Harris, so I don't want to trade him. But it would make sense. Stevenson's going to be here for another few years. I think your scenario makes more sense than mine, where they just bring back the entire running back room and just run it back. And then lastly, Jakob Johnson. Do you think they re-sign him?
I wish I had my sweatshirt on, make fullbacks great again. I'm all deep in the fullback market. Everyone who's a free agent, everyone's who's available. Probably they bring him back just because he knows the system. You don't pay fullbacks a lot anyway. The only other free agent fullback I would see that would kind of catch Bill's eye, and Bill loves his fullbacks, would be my man Pat Ricard coming out of Baltimore. Plays defensive tackle and fullback. Bill will eat that up. He'll be like, we don't need an extra defensive tackle, but hell, you never know. Injuries and shit. He had Edelman playing cornerback. He can have this dude playing defensive tackle. Also went to the University of Maine, which is damn cool because no one goes to the NFL from that school.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, you got to be good to get there, and it is from Baltimore, so I mean, sure, Bill would want to take that away, kind of pick his brain a little bit.
We did it once; it worked out real well.
Oh, with who? What's his name?
Don't leave me hanging here.
No, I can't. I'm not gonna. I can
killing me. Matthew Judon.
No. I know him. I was thinking the guy we got from there that didn't work out. What's his name? The linebacker that we got from there. I think it was from there. No, it'll come to me halfway through the podcast. I forget what it was. Yeah. All of a sudden, we'll be talking about wide receivers. I'll be like, this is the guy.
I'll be like, he's not a wide receiver.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they bring him back because the running game was good last year. He was a big part when he was in the game. He got better as the year went on, as did a lot of the newer, younger people as well. So, okay. Yeah, I think you with your Damian Harris thing completely threw me off because my mind wasn't thinking of trading
this one up. I've been sitting over the oven, just letting this simmer.
I didn't. It didn't cross my mind. Like I don't even know. I can't even think of the words.
That's the biggest Bill move. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. In fact,
because the fans would hate it too.
Yeah,
they would hate
100%.
Yeah, because he's beloved here. Everybody likes him. I mean, it seemed he like you said, he was second in touchdowns. Like he's really good. But this is when you get rid of him. It makes too much sense. This is what
it's a classic Bill Belichick move too, where all the fans are like, "What is Bill doing? He's lost his touch. I can't believe it." And then it works out completely, and everyone's silent. No,
machine keeps running. Yep.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, I screwed up that take." People just don't say anything. They're like,
"Yep." But then at some point during the year, the Patriots will have one game where they don't run the ball well. Damian Harris will break off like a 70-yard run. And you'll get all the local guys. Oh, wow. Damian Harris, nice run. Would have been nice to have someone like that this week. Shut up. I saw that when not Matt Lacoste. Who was it? It was it actually might have been Matt Lacoste. No, the other tight end that the Pats had, who was the one when it was Devin Asiasi, Matt Lacoste, and there was the other guy that was starting. He made some sort of play like a couple of years ago, and it's like, oh, would have been nice to have him. It's like, shut up. Just because the Pats let go of someone and they make a play doesn't mean that he should be shut up. I hate when they do that shit. It's the worst. So, yeah. So running back, I didn't think that running backs was going to be that much of a discussion, but it was. Damn. So next we got. You want to go? We'll save wide receivers for the end. I think that makes sense.
We have to.
You want to go offensive lineman? Well, that's the only other thing. So
I think there's plenty to talk about with the offensive lineman too.
Plenty. Yeah. These are the two. So Patriots offensive line right now, they have, I kind of went from left to right. Isaiah Wynn, Justin Herron. I don't know if you roll the R. I can't roll my R. So.
Herron.
Isaiah Wynn, Justin Herron, Mike Onwenu, David Andrews, Shaq Mason, Yasir Durant. Don't know how to say his name. Yanni.
Now this is a name. Yodney
Kajuste, who actually people think he's going to be good. He was injured his entire first year.
Yes.
People that they got high hopes for him. And then we go to the free agents. Trent Brown and Ted Carris both played very crucial parts to the Patriots' success in running and just kind of offense in general. We'll start with you again. What do you think? First of all, what do you think happens with the free agents, Trent Brown and Ted Carris?
I mean, is there any scenario where either one of us think Trent Brown leaves?
He better not.
He better not.
I would hope he would.
I will hunt him down and haunt him for the rest of his days if that's the case. But there would be no scenario if
the ghost of Trent Brown's pass.
Yeah, it would be me, and he'd just be miserable. I'd be out in front of his house just staring at him like all hours of the night. I can't imagine Bill, even in his wildest, I'm going to stick it to the fans phase, he gets rid of this guy. I mean, we just traded for him. He missed a good chunk of the season, came back in an instant difference maker. Instant bar none, no question. He comes in, you could drive a bus through the holes he made. So there's no scenario where I imagine he's gone. If he did, or if he does leave, I mean, I have to rethink everything I know about football, kind of go back. I got to just go back and watch the original Super Bowl all the way up to this one and figure out where the hell I went wrong, because there's no alternate reality where I imagine we let this guy go. In my opinion, he's a top 5 tackle in the league. And some of the best tackles in the league are like 39 years old right now. I think we could ride him out into his Trent Williams years right now, because he was voted the best tackle and he's almost 40.
Easily you could. He is that good. Do you think, kind of a curveball question, instead of JC Jackson, do you think they would use the franchise tag on oh nope, they can't because he's a free agent. Son of a bitch. A bitch. Yeah, no, never mind. Never mind. They can't, yeah, he's not. Yeah, I mean, I don't.
It's a tough one.
Do you? I don't know what I'm pretty sure the franchise tag number for a corner is larger than for an offensive lineman. Would you be surprised, and would you be happy or mad if they did use the franchise tag on Trent Brown, though? Which I think, because if you're looking at corner and left tackle, I mean, corner and right tackle, these are the two most important positions that the Patriots need to solidify. One of those two, they need to solidify the offensive line, or they got to solidify the corner. I don't know if I would be too upset if they did franchise tag Trent Brown. Because like you said, he was out when he came back in, he was opening up holes that Damian Harris was running through. Ramondre Stevenson was running through when he got in. He is as crucial to this offense's success as I think, it's a bold to say it, but as I think Mac Jones is. So I don't know. Who do you think? Who do you think should do it? Because I'm sitting there trying to figure it out. I don't know, but I think the thing is with Trent Brown, he came back from the Raiders. So if Trent Brown's going to come back from the Raiders, if Bill Belichick is going to go through the entire process of just bringing him back, you got to think that he knows he wants him here. He knows when he brought him back from Oakland, not Oakland, Las Vegas. You know, when he brought him back from Las Vegas, that he only had 1 year here. So I don't see a world where Belichick is bringing back Trent Brown just as like a 1 year rental from the Raiders. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
no, because it doesn't make sense at all.
No, it doesn't. So I think Trent Brown comes back. Ted Carris, I mean, if he wants to take another cheap deal, he loves playing here. He loves coming back here.
He does.
You know, if
he's
he
another Brandon Bolden type.
Yeah, but the thing, I think he could be more valuable than Brandon Bolden, because you saw when the offensive line was kind of, floating around, people were dropping like flies. Carris filled in pretty much wherever he was needed, left guard, right guard, center. I mean, he was going to be the starting center before David Andrews came back last offseason. So
he reminds me of, I don't know if you remember Dan Coppin, the old center during that undefeated season. Mm-hmm. He kind of left and came back a couple times into the 2010s. Mm-hmm. But they just remind me of similar players where Dan Coppin played guard, tackle, most of the time center. Bill's like, wherever. I just need you to fill in, man. You know the system. Just go do it. Just block.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could see that too. I could see him doing that. I think they both come back. I think Carris comes back on like a 1 year, $3 million deal, because I think he's on like a 1 year, like $5 or $6 million or something like that. It's still not a huge deal. Yeah. I think Trent Brown definitely comes back because, like I was saying, Belichick didn't bring him over from the Raiders just to rent him for 1 year.
Halfway, or like not a third of, or 2/3 of the year, I guess.
Yeah, there's no way. So I do think that they come back. Everybody else is on there, is under contract. Do you think the Pats sign any free agents or go outside the team to pick anybody to be on the offensive line?
If they do, it won't be a big name. I saw that you had Eric Fisher on there.
That's the only one I saw. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is interesting. I remember seeing him get drafted. I think he was the first overall pick way back in the day.
Yep.
And then they took Luke Jokel with the second one. He ended up being fucking terrible. But again, you probably have to fork out big bucks for Fisher. He's been pretty good. It just seems like Bill doesn't like to spend money where it's not exactly necessary. And our offensive line proved this year, if Trent Brown's there, you could put him with a bunch of squids and it doesn't matter. He can hold up, let alone the other guys we have that are pretty good. I don't think there's any reason to go get anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I put Eric Fisher. He's 31. He's coming off of an injury too, so it's kind of one of those things where the Chiefs are getting rid of him.
Yeah,
it was. I think he is like the eighth or ninth rated offensive lineman available in free agency. It's like, this might be one. But and the reason why I wasn't looking at anybody else, I was looking at people who played the tackles, either right tackle or left tackle, because I figured if Trent Brown's gone, that's the only reason they're going to go outside of the draft, because I think that's where Belichick gets his offensive linemen for the most part. He drafts them. He is for as bad as he is at drafting receivers, he is that good at drafting offensive line. It's ridiculous. His hit rate is really good. So
it's tough to sign a free agent, especially late in their career when they've got used to another system, then to have them come in and learn the infamously difficult Patriots system.
Yep.
Most of these poor bastards aren't ready for that. Like, you could fork out big bucks to take Brandon Scherf away from Washington, and then he could come in here and just be completely rattled by everything going in one ear and out the other, and then he sucks. I don't think Bill wants to even risk that.
No. Because again, the offensive line, you have to, I mean, we saw it this year. Cohesion, you got to have the togetherness, that you got to know what the guy next to you is doing. If you bring another person in and kind of try to mix that, when you have Mac Jones in his second year, this is the year everybody expects him and the offense as a whole to take the big step. You don't want to have any funny business, any shenanigans with the offensive line. So yeah, I think their starting offensive line going into 2022, Isaiah Wynn, Mike Onwenu, David Andrews, Shaq Mason, Trent Brown. And then if you want, you could, because I think they started Heron, whatever, however you pronounce it, over and when I don't know why, but they did. But I think if you sign Trent Brown, hopefully sign Ted Carris, I think he's going to come back unless some team blows him away with more years, a little bit more money, because they see that he can be a starter if he has to be. I don't know. I think the offensive line, if they come back with those 5 starting, they are going to be good to go heading into 2022. I don't see the offensive line.
I think that sounds perfect to me. That whole offensive line just seems killer.
Yeah. No, and they got the backups too. If they got to put people in, whether you got Onwenu or Heron to put in, or if Ted Carris is back, you want to put Ted Carris in there. Yasir Durant played okay when he was in. They got a good starting 5, and they got a good 2 or 3 backup bench going on. So I think offensive line is perfect with what they do. But again, you just have to sign Trent Brown. Would you say Trent Brown? Who would you say is more important, Trent Brown or J.C. Jackson to sign? Because I don't know which one between those two. Because then you're starting to sit there and think about defense, offense. It just kind of depends on what you're on what you put more weight behind. I know everybody thinks that, corners are, they can shut down Revis Island, all that, which is great, but you need a good offensive line. So I think Trent Brown is more important than JC Jackson this year or this offseason. So I think Trent Brown gets signed. And then, like I said, I think Ted Carris kind of gets signed too on like a 1-year, $2.5 million deal or some nonsense like that. So before we get into the Patriots wide receivers, I do want to say, you've probably seen every time Liam and I come on this podcast, we are energized, we are shocked, we are ready to go. Shocked Energy, shocked.com, shockedenergy.com. Go there, CGSN at checkout. You get 10% off. Again, you always hear us talk about it, different flavors, whatever you're looking at. Watermelon's the flavor for us. It's a tough flavor to nail. Shocked Energy does nail it every time. So go in there, Shocked Energy, 10% off, CGSN checkout, put it in, get that watermelon box as well, and you will be shocked, ready to go.
Put that watermelon box in, baby.
Get it. So, So Liam, before we go to wide receivers, I just wanted a quick off the top 2-second answer. Who's the more important free agent? Trent Brown, JC Jackson.
Oh man, I mean, it's like, would you rather have $1 million or 100 gold bars? It's a real tough choice there. It both seem great. Fuck, if I have to choose between the two, I mean, call me crazy. This sucks. Call me crazy. I'm gonna have to go with Trent Brown. I mean, I trust Bill to work a makeshift defense before I trust him to do a makeshift offensive line, I guess. I mean, we went to the Super Bowl with Sterling Moore as our starting corner. So I think anything's possible. Granted, he had one huge play to knock the ball out of Lee Evans' hands.
Yes,
Lee
he
Evans.
did. Yes, he did. Ravens.
We have gone to the Super Bowl with some unspectacular quarterbacks. Lee Bowden.
Oh God, yeah. He was supposed to be. He was supposed to be. Alfonso Denard. We talked about him.
He had his moments. Ellis Hobbs was
Hobbs.
ideal.
Loved Ellis Hobbs.
I hated Ellis Hobbs. So it's kind of what's the more important position, and I'm going to have to give it to the tackle here. Left tackle is the most important position in football. So.
Yep, that's what it comes down to.
Trent usually plays right? He usually
he normally plays right. He can. I know he can play left tackle if he wants, but Isaiah Wynn is kind of there. They might be able to switch it, whatever they want to do. Either way, the tackle position very important.
Yeah,
that's what I said. That's what I said too. I think I think it was when you were hooking up your headphones again because you have an everlasting battle with your headphones when we're recording.
But it's so inconsistent too. Which is the thing, like the last 2-3 podcasts, perfectly fine. This one is just skull piping me.
Skull piping. That is
skull piping.
That is the PG-13 way.
Yep. Trying to curb my language here. Curb my fucking language,
Skull fucking. Two F words back to back like that. Jeez. But yeah, no, I think it's Trent Brown too. I think right now somehow he knows. I think it's just like his spider senses go off.
He's like,
fuck. Tuck rule, they're swearing again.
Laying in bed, he rises up like Dracula, swears.
He's like, oh my God, skull fucking. So I think
his girlfriend's like, what?
Yeah, she's like, no. No.
Al, not this again.
Don't you put that evil on me.
So you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I was gonna say Bobby Brown. That's why I stopped. I couldn't think of it quick enough. I knew it was Ricky Bobby.
Bobby Brown.
But I didn't want to say don't put that evil on me, Bobby Brown. That would have been mean. But yeah,
Bobby Brown puts evil on people.
Yeah,
with fists.
He skull pipes them.
Puts women on evil on women with his fists.
He's not great.
Not a nice guy.
He's not great. But let's just bring it right on back to football. I picked Trent Brown too, just strictly because position. Like you said, position is more important. Jonathan Jones is coming back. They can draft a corner. I'm not worried about that. We saw what the offense looks like when Trent Brown isn't playing. I'd rather see what the defense looks like without JC Jackson and a healthy Jonathan Jones, as opposed to seeing again what the offensive line looks like without Trent Brown. So
yeah,
Trent Brown,
I can make the argument for JC. There's just not
of course you can. Yeah.
Not much meat and potatoes to it.
No, it's just he's a good corner, and he can blanket one receiver.
He's a really good corner.
Yeah, he's a top 3 corner who can shut down a receiver. But what happens with everybody? You know what I mean? When you have a really good offensive lineman, that makes every other offensive lineman better because he can kind of do what he's doing.
The wide receivers more time, the running back
gives your quarterback more time. Exactly. You can run by. You saw when it was Stevenson, Jakob Johnson running behind Trent Brown and Shaq Mason, that was unstoppable. By the way, I saw people. I said it when we started the podcast. Stop, Patriots fans. Stop trying to trade away good players. I saw people saying, "Oh, well, what would be the cap savings if we traded away Shaq Mason?" Arguably the best offensive lineman, the most consistent that we have.
This is what I was going to say before my headphones cut out because people don't talk about offensive linemen, and I just wanted to put his name out there because, and this takes a lot for me to say, because do you know where he went to school?
Not the U.
No, in fact, the polar opposite. If the U is heaven, where you go when you die, then Florida State is hell where you go after you die. He went to Florida State. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy, but yet he comes out and absolutely forces me to like him. Like unbelievably consistent, not an injury in sight, locks it down so much you never hear about him. Never hear about him.
That's how you know he's
talks
good.
about him, and that's an incredible thing.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that's why so many fans are like, oh, we hear Isaiah Wynn's name. We hear David Andrews' name. Obviously, he's the center, so you're going to hear his name more, and he has more of the story off the field too. You hear Trent Brown's name. You hear Onwenu come in because he was the highest rated, offensive lineman, all that fun stuff. You don't hear Shaq Mason's name, and that's a good thing.
Incredible.
That's how you have a really good offensive lineman, because he plays right guard. Like no one loves that. If anything, people pay more attention to the left guard because he's on the quarterback's blind side. So no one's ever like, oh yeah, that right guard play really good. But
he
Shaq
really
Mason
locked it down.
Yeah, no, but that's all Shaq Mason does. So thank God we are a pro Shaq Mason podcast, just like we are a pro James White podcast and a pro Ronnie freaking Perkins podcast. We will talk about him next week when we talk about the defense and the free agents and all that, because that's going to be a ride, because there's a lot of free agents on the defensive side. But we have delayed long enough. Probably I would say, other than maybe corner, depending on what happens with JC Jackson, or linebacker. I know that's a big thing right now. Wide receivers is probably the most polarizing, talked about position right now for the Patriots, I would say. So on the roster right now, you have Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, Christian Wilkerson, the little 2-game hero last year, and Trey Nixon, the last pick by Ernie Adams going into this season before he left. Those are your wide. I'm not putting Matthew Slater as a wide receiver.
No,
not doing it. He's a free agent.
We haven't put Matthew Slater as a wide receiver since 2013.
People do. I see the reporters whenever they list the positions. I'm like, don't put him as a wide receiver. I know that you can't put Gunner as his thing. He's a gunner, and he's the best damn one in the league. He is a free agent as well. I think he comes back though. So Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, Christian Wilkerson, Trey Nixon. Those last two, who knows? They might be practice squad guys. I don't know what's going to happen with them. Jacoby Myers, a restricted free agent. Gunnar Olszewski, a restricted free agent. Out of those two, before we get into everybody out there, do you think either one of them come back?
Olszewski or Myers?
Or or Jacoby.
I have faith that Myers comes back. Am I confident? No.
Yeah.
But I have faith that they get this deal done. He's just one of those guys. He kind of seems like a glue guy. He seems like somebody you got to bring back. Unfortunately, I think Olszewski's out, especially after, what did he lead the league in return yardage?
Yeah. He was, I think towards the end of the league, he was one. I think he ended top 3 either way. So.
Yeah. So either way, he's got value. Will another team fork out for him? It's tough to say. I don't think other teams look at specific positions like this, especially in the kicking game, which is less effective than it has been in decades past.
Yep.
I don't know how much interest he'd garner. So it all depends on what other teams value kick returners at. Depends on if we get him back. If I had to say right now, do we keep him? Do we not? I would say we probably don't.
Yeah. I don't think he comes back at all. I think that he stayed around for a couple of years. I feel like Belichick was hoping he would fall into the same pattern as Edelman, where it starts, returning kicks, returning punts, then kind of finds his own niche in the offense and then excels. He has not found his role. If anything, his role went down from 2021 to 2020 or 2020 to 2021.
I think he's one of these fans that's like, because I see this a lot, especially on Patriots Twitter, his fans just love this guy. Like, they can't get enough. I wonder if they're trying to jump the gun here and be like, he's the next Welker Edelman, where they're like, we're just getting out on this early. We love him because we know how this is going to end. I don't think it's one of those cases. I am not super into Gunner. I think he's only pretty okay.
He has a cool name. That's honestly what it is. He has a good name.
Really cool.
He has an even better name for Boston. Gunna.
Yes.
Gunna. Look at him go, kid. Bud, look at him. Oh, Gunna up
down
the
field,
kid. Gunning down the field. Yeah, he's going to be gunning down the field for another team. I don't think he comes back. People like him because he's a plucky little, cool looking, little weird looking guy. Like you said, let's be very blunt. He is a white kick returner. Who do you think of when you think of that? What, like you said, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
Even a little bit of Danny Amendola. He fell into Patriots fans' good graces last year. He made the Pro Bowl last year, which was,
wow.
I mean, like, good for him that he made the Pro Bowl. I'm happy that he did. It was another notch in the Patriots cap too, that they had someone in the Pro Bowl. But yeah, Gunner's not coming back. He's not needed here because he doesn't.
Imagine if Gunner was a gunner also. That'd be hilarious.
That would be. That's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, I don't think he's a gunner because I feel like I would have heard that joke.
Yeah.
I think they even remember they took him. People were saying that Gunner should be benched. Remember, he was back there fumbling kicks and in getting too close to kickoffs and punts. That's what it was this year. So I think Gunner's gone. Jacoby Myers, to me, I want him back because it's clear him and Mac Jones have a good relationship. He's also good. He is a solid.
Don't let the touchdown numbers fool you, people.
Yeah, no, don't calm down. Would you want him, or would you slot him as a 2-3 receiver, or just strictly like a slot guy? Because I think he's done all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. They play him as the X on the outside every once in a while, but it's mostly like, I'm trying to think of like what the situation would be. It all depends on the defense. Like if the defense is in nickel packages and they can line them up on a linebacker on the outside, they do that just for a mismatch. Because Bill loves his mismatches. He'll pull fullbacks out of the backfield, line them up at wide receiver. He'll do goddamn anything. So he's looking for mismatches there. But I consider him a slot receiver. Even most of his deep routes, it'll be like that classic Edelman where they'll have the outside receiver running a slant and then he'll do a wheel on the outside and they'll try and get like a natural pick and try and get him. And those are his deep routes. You don't really see him going deep often. And that's where his catches come from. It's like 6 catches, 78 yards. Every game you can count on him for at least a nickel's worth of catches. So that's where he works his magic. He's that guy.
Yeah, I think he does come back. And the reason I think he comes back, I'm gonna start because what I'm gonna say you're not gonna like. I think the Patriots are going to get a receiver elsewhere. I think Nelson Aguilar is gone. I think he gets traded. I don't want him to get traded, but I think he gets traded somewhere. The Patriots need picks. People are going to give a third, maybe a 4th round pick for Aguilar. I think that Calvin Ridley is a name that we have to look out for. People are saying that, you flip a 2nd round pick to the Falcons. Liam's dead. He has fallen off the chair. I don't want it to happen. I don't want Aguilar to go, but I think Aguilar does get traded. You get cap savings that way too. Like I was saying last week, I think you get like, I think I broke Liam because he's gone. I think he just had a broken heart, died of a broken heart, but that's fine. It's probably best he's not here. Oh God, you're back. This was going to be it. So I don't want this to happen. This is just the more likely option. Now I could see them keeping him, signing Myers, and then just going in, and then drafting a guy and being done there. But I could see them trading Aguilar, getting a 3rd round pick, 3rd round pick probably, right? Because if Calvin Ridley is going to get a 2nd round pick, Nelson Aguilar is probably going to get a 3rd round pick. You get about $8 million in cap savings there. And I think you either go after a free agent or you do the trade for Ridley, which everybody's saying it could be, a 2nd round pick could get Ridley onto your team. So I could see the Pats doing that. But if they keep Aguilar, I don't think the Patriots sign any free agents. I think they end up probably re-signing Myers and drafting a couple people. Because I guess the Pats are meeting with every wide receiver in the draft.
Oh, I'm sure.
Every one of them. It was reported. It was just name after name after name after name. And they're all, which is good because I guess this is a relatively, interesting wide receiver draft where you got people who play like AJ Brown, you got speed guys, you got possession receivers, you got all these guys there. So I think the more likely option is that they probably keep Bourne, Aguilar, and sign Myers and then draft someone. But for the sake of argument, in the sake of this podcast, I'm going to tell you what I think they're going to do.
I was going to say, between those two options, what do you think happens?
I think they trade Aguilar. They get a 3rd round pick. They get like a 3rd and a 5th for him or something. And then I think they re-sign Jacoby Myers. So that gives you Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers, Christian Wilkerson, Trey Nixon. But I think they go out there and they get Calvin Ridley. I think they do the trade. They give him a 2nd round pick. I saw people saying a 2nd round pick and Chase Winovich should get you Calvin Ridley. I wouldn't hate that. Chase Winovich is in the doghouse. I think he's gone this offseason anyway. And then you have Ridley, Bourne, Myers. And then I still think that they draft someone. I just don't think they make it as much of a priority if they didn't get Ridley or something like that. So that's what I think they do. But out of the free agents, so let's just kind of run them down. We'll kind of go person by person. Well, first of all, do you, I know what the answer is. Would you want them to trade Nelson Aguilar?
I mean, do you want a meteor to crash to Earth and wipe out all life? No, I don't want fucking Nelson Aguilar traded.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I mean, the world isn't doing great right now. But,
no, certainly not. If it could just hit Russia and the Ukraine, that'd be fine. But
yeah, that's it. And just like only pick out the bad guys.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no, I don't want to get rid of Nelson Aguilar, and I don't think it's going to happen either.
I'm not saying, by the way, like I'm not like these like we were talking about with Jonnu Smith, where Aguilar's numbers to me weren't what I thought they would be, so I think you should trade him. No, I would be very happy if he stayed.
You should.
If he goes,
I think you are happy. You'd be happy if he stayed, because if we got rid of him every week, I'd be on this show. I'd be insufferable. You wouldn't be able to continue doing this because I would just be a menace on here.
I know. It wouldn't be good. You'd be cheering for him. He'd probably go to somewhere like he'd probably go to the Dolphins or something. That'd be fun.
Watch him go to the Cowboys. I would lose my mind. I would kill myself. I mean,
the Cowboys have a receiver on the free agent list that we're going to talk about.
Yes.
So that I think the Pats might want to look into. But so that's what I think is going to happen. But if taking everything out, if we each think that they are going to sign a free agent, we both kind of hope and think that they probably will sign Jacoby Myers back. That shouldn't stop them from going out and getting anybody else. So if they were going to get a free agent, we'll start with kind of the top 3 free agents available. My answers are pretty quick here. Devontae Adams, you think they get him?
No, there's not there's a snowball's chance in a microwave that we sign him.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can probably say that about the top 3. You got Devontae Adams. He's going to get the bag, as everybody says. Chris Godwin, don't see him coming here. I would love
a lot of people seem to think he's coming for some reason.
Why? I don't understand. Just because Belichick spent so much money last offseason, people are like, holy shit, well, he's just going to keep spending. They got like $7 million going into, and now again, they're going to free up space and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. But
Chris Godwin is going to get signed to a big contract, not as big as Devontae Adams, and Devontae Adams deserves it. But Godwin is not coming here. I mean, shit, he might stay in Tampa if Tom Brady comes back, which that lunatic is like playing the will he won't he.
Don't even get me started.
And then Allen Robinson, who again, I saw people talking about Allen Robinson to the Pats too. I would, and again, all these guys, like, of course, I would love any of them. Allen Robinson, especially.
No, I don't want Devontae Smith on my or Devontae Adams. Like, no,
like who get out of here. Allen Robinson, though, he's going to have a bunch of offers. The Patriots, like I said last week, the Patriots are in no position to outbid anybody.
No.
Even if they could make it fit and be like, hey, so Allen Robinson, we'll give you, your cap hit is only going to be nine million bucks, but you'll get this much in signing bonus, all this. So you're actually going to be getting paid this much. And then the second year it goes up to 17 million. No, he's going to be, and that's how all these players are. They're going to be like, no, why wouldn't I just sign with the Chiefs and get 17 million bucks right now?
Yeah.
Like,
right. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I don't want this in the future when you can cut me. I want this now.
Yeah. And like, I don't want an incentive. And then a lot of these players, they want their salary to be this number. They don't want their salary to be, something like small and be like, oh, well, we have signing bonuses and all that. They want to walk around like, yeah, I'm one of the highest paid receivers. I'm one of the highest paid corners or whatever. So I don't think any of them come here. I mean, Allen Robinson might be the only one where there's a sliver of hope.
Yeah.
But I just don't see it. So
is there anything to be said for that old chestnut of maybe these guys want to win and they don't take the big bag? We don't see it much anymore because players don't want to win. This generation's soft. I'll be the old curmudgeon that's going to say it. This generation's soft. Most of them don't want to win. If they do want to win, then it's on their terms. Like an Antonio Brown thing. Yes, I'd like to win the game, but I also need 12 catches for $150 and 2 touchdowns while I do it.
Yeah.
If there's any warrant to that, it should be Chris Godwin, who recently, just in the last 2 years, had a lot of success.
Yeah.
If Tom Brady's definitely gone, if Tom Brady's definitely gone, I'd be like, all right, I just played with Tom, who came from the Patriots.
Yeah.
Basically, everything Tom learned was on the Patriots. The system and his work ethic came from the Patriots.
Yeah.
I'm sure Tom had some words about the Patriots, whether they were good or bad. It's hard for Tom to say that his experience on the Patriots was nothing less than spectacular. He won fucking 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So if there was any words exchanged, it'd be a hard press for me to say they were bad. What's the worst he could say about Bill? He makes you work hard. Oh, wow, what an asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. He got the best out of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, the F word.
Fun. Yeah, well, I can't imagine you're having much fun with Bruce Arians either. I think there is some merit to this. I kind of hope that there are still players like Tom Brady, I guess, and like those guys that were willing to take pay cuts to stay with the team. Rodney Harrison later in his Patriots career. And just those players that want to win selflessly. I'll stay here. Edelman could have got the bag anywhere else. Just stayed, hung around. Gronk too. All these guys. So it's, if there's any metrics or warrant to that, I think Chris Godwin would be the top candidate. Allen Robinson's kind of always lost, so I think he's probably pretty all right with losing, unless he's really fed up with it. Now, like you said, he can get the bag, so it's like, he's been getting the bag. Why wouldn't he keep getting the bag? Unless he really hates the situations he's been in, then I could see it with him. But Chris Godwin seems like a prime candidate to just kind of throw his hands in the air and be like, all right, am I going to go back to going 7-7 for the next 4 years until I retire? No.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't hate that. And kind of when you put it like that, I could see it. And maybe that's why he has been rumored to potentially go to the Pats, is because of that. Maybe, he already won his Super Bowl, maybe he wants to go to a good organization, get a good deal, something like that. Cause otherwise, I mean, who are you going to go to that is, gonna give you, going to give you the bat, and you're going to be at a good organization. Like the Chiefs can only spend so much money. Exactly. I guess
he can go to the Giants, but he'd be miserable.
Like you have those like bottom teams that like he's going to want to go to, like the Washington Commanders. You're not going to want to go there. Like the 49ers, no, they got Debo. They're going to have to, like, they got a bunch of things already. I mean, the Ravens might be a team, but I mean, would you want to go to a team with a quarterback who's starting to show injury, getting the injury bug,
especially with his play style?
Yeah. I don't know if he's going to want to go there. So, I mean, the Pats, like I'll put it this way. I can easily talk myself into saying that Chris Godwin could be on the Patriots. Yeah. If he does want to take that deal. But I like looking at it realistically, I don't see it happening.
I know.
But out of those 3, because Allen Robinson clearly, I mean, I don't think he would want to come to the Patriots and not be like the number one, like the star guy. Devontae Adams is going to get $1 billion.
Yeah, but he made it clear his only quarterback's Aaron Rodgers. So wherever Aaron goes, he's going. Yeah. And they timed up their free agency at the same time there. So that's a done deal. Do we also have faith that if Chris Godwin were to sign with the Patriots, do we think he'd be good?
I think I think he's
like a number one receiver.
I think so. Yeah. Because he wasn't one of those guys, at least from what I saw, heard, all that stuff. I don't think, and when I say heard, my ears are not to the ground of the NFL. I just watch sports like you guys do. Chris Godwin, I don't think he was made by Brady. I think he has the skill, the potential to be a number one. Now, he's not going to be a number one like a Devontae Adams number one or like a DeAndre Hopkins number one. But I think he can be on that tier right below that where like he's still a number one receiver. You know, he's just not your elite number one. I don't know. I wouldn't hate it even if he comes here and but that's just it. Would he be comfortable coming here and not be the number one option on the offense? Even if he is number one in the wide receiver depth chart, he's not going to be the number one option on the offense.
But he hasn't been the number one option in Tampa either.
Yeah, true. Because Brady spread the ball around a lot.
Mostly to Gronk and Evans.
I'd be willing to see Chris Godwin come here. He does have a little bit of an injury thing too. I think that's something that people are talking about.
Yeah, but I have my hesitations.
Yeah, I mean, again, don't get me wrong. If the Patriots, if it comes out, after March 18th, that the Patriots signed Chris Godwin, I'm not gonna be like, damn, this guy.
Gonna be like, shit.
No, I'm gonna be like, okay, great, let's run it back. Sign Trent Brown. Yeah. So the next little slot of guys I have, and if you want to throw people into, because when I was kind of listing them, I like tried to split them up as best I could. The next guys I have here, Juju, AJ Green, who I still think he has the talent. Maybe he shouldn't be in this list. Mike Williams, OBJ, and Will Fuller. I don't think I meant to put him in this section, but so out of those guys, we already had the conversation about Juju. 1 year, $8 million. If that's what he wants to do, great. If not, I don't think the Patriots should touch him. AJ Green. Does that name still excite you? I feel like AJ Green has been around for 20 years.
Yeah, he has, and it doesn't excite me. Like last season, he made plays. He wasn't terrible. He wasn't bad by any metric. He just wasn't dynamic. He wasn't AJ Green. And if we're going to get a player, I don't want him at the tail end. Unless it's Larry Fitzgerald, I'll take him 40 years from now.
I'll take him right now. Yeah.
That doesn't matter to me. He's ageless, but AJ isn't. And he showed a lot of age this year, especially in that last playoff game. Without DeAndre Hopkins, he was the number one guy, and he was awful. Yes, Kyler was bad too. Yes, the whole team was bad. It's tough for one wide receiver to be good if the quarterback sucks, the offensive line sucks, they can't run the ball. But he was dropping passes that he should catch. He's a big body. He's a decent red zone target. But he's that's about it. He won't beat anyone off the line. His moves aren't so crisp. The speed is down just a notch. I think AJ isn't exactly worth it anymore.
No,
which is a shame because I always dreamed about him as a Patriot.
Me too. That's why it's probably my bias. That's why I have him higher up than other people on the list.
I'm looking at your tier list here. It's definitely suspect. I could rip you apart.
Yeah, I'm looking at my own list and being like, who the hell put this thing together?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, God, I deserve the skull piping. But no, I think AJ Green would have been nice if he's here as a piece, I guess, great, but it better just be a team-friendly deal, all that stuff.
If we don't sign anyone, and you went with that original thing where we're just running it back clean, and we don't get any big name free agents, we definitely don't get rid of Nelly, then I'd be fine with us getting AJ Green as depth. If, heaven forbid, Jacoby Myers leaves for some reason, we move Nelly to the slot and keep AJ as an outside guy, that'd be fine with me too.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't hate that. So he's a cool option. Not really feeling him. I'm gonna skip over the next name because that'll be the last one we go over here because I know that I know you fucking love that guy. But OBJ, he was very close to coming here mid-season. Yes. Would you want OBJ here?
Not anymore, which is a shame because I
Yep.
loved him this season. He
Yep.
made me a lot of money. He made
Yep.
me a rich, rich man. In fact, he's paying for my vacation this weekend. I think he tore his ACL just recently. He's going to be out
Mhm.
till what is that? I heard it at least November or something like that.
Mhm. Yep.
So that comes with some extra baggage. Hell, we could probably get him really cheap in November. I can't imagine a team's going to sign him until he's almost done with that knee injury, which is
Yep.
a shame. I just don't think there's any reason to hop on this train early and be
No.
like one of the front runners to sign Odell Beckham. No.
No, someone will, but not the Patriots.
Yeah, and he was great on the he was great on the Rams. I'll give it to him. He was great.
Yeah.
But he wasn't blow me away. He wasn't the Odell that I used to despise. I used to just sit in my room pissed, just being like fucking Odell Beckham, like just
stomping
furious.
around like OBJ.
Yeah, I couldn't believe I hated him, but I hated him because he was good. Now I just like him because he's okay, I guess. And it's
that's a good like the scales have kind of good because it was like, oh,
completely
I
changed.
hate him because he's good, but now I like
Now
him.
I like him because he's not so dynamic, and it certainly helps he doesn't play for the Giants. He's just not so dynamic anymore.
No.
Like he's not making crazy catches. He just gets open and catches the ball. And there's a bunch of people on this list that I think could give you equal or more production than him.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, like you said, that injury, you don't know because it's the same ACL. It was the same leg that he already tore before.
The first time.
So I think I brought I think what was it 2-3 episodes ago? I wouldn't be surprised if he retires, depending on how the rehab goes. If there's a setback or there's an infection, something like that, you're like, listen, I just won a Super Bowl. I'm out. Like I did what I wanted to do. I proved everybody wrong.
Sucks.
That's what he did. Yeah, he's like, fuck that. I'm gonna come back. What? Like, well, I already won. Like, screw it. I'm gonna go back on the yacht with Victor Cruz. But
God, I do love Victor Cruz.
I love Victor Cruz. But yeah, so OBJ. Cool name, kind of similar to AJ Green in the sense that I think he's more name value than actual.
Better years are behind him.
On field, yeah. And OBJ would perform definitely better than Green, assuming his leg comes back. But I don't want either one of them. And yeah, I don't want OBJ. Would have been good to have him mid-year this year because we don't know what would have happened with the team. But that moment's passed, gone. It's almost one of those things where it's like, you say, or like, you send a drunk text, and then in the morning you're like, oh wait, no, I don't want to talk to you or whatever.
What the fuck was I thinking?
I think that's what the Patriots are doing right now with OBJ. They're like, why did we want him so bad? So yeah, none of him. Last name on this one before we get to actually the other name, Will Fuller. I'm just gonna say it. No, he's hurt way too much. I know this because I've had him in fantasy the last like 3-4 years. He is hurt all the time. When he's on the field, awesome. Deep threat, stretch the field, really good. But it just seems like he's always nicked up. And I'm sure you could get him for cheap. If the Patriots got him, I'd be interested. I would let my mind wander about, the deep passes, Mac throwing it down there.
Him and Nelly deep all day.
That's what I was going to say. These guys, or pretty much almost all these guys, you can have with Bourne, Aguilar, and Myers if you want to keep that. If you want to keep him, you don't need to trade Aguilar and get any of these remaining guys on this list. So Will Fuller, I would fantasize about the deep passes, but I don't want him because I don't even think he's going to play a whole year. I think he'll play half the season and just be hurt. Yep. So I don't know. That's how
I'm with you there. Took the words
out
of my mouth because I like him when he plays. But.
Yeah. So next one though, I'll let you start with this. Mike Williams.
Give me Mike Williams. I mean, like I said in the last show, I love him. He's somebody that I believe can be a number one receiver. Jump ball guy, runs crisp routes, can take the top off of defense. And if there's anything that we need, it's another red zone threat. Just Mac gets the snap, 2-step drop, heaves it up in the corner. I can't get enough of that in general. And I think Mike Williams is one of the best jump ball receivers there is. His vertical is unbelievable. He should be playing basketball. He's completely in the wrong sport, but I love it. I absolutely love it. He's maybe my top list here, or my top name on this list.
Imagine Mike Williams on one side of the field and Hunter Henry on the other side. Yeah. Oh, want to know what's funny about that? Guess who his teammates? Mike Williams and Hunter Henry.
Exactly. So if he shoots over a text to Hunter, he's like, yo, how is it over here?
Man.
Hunter's like, well, I was tied for first in touchdowns, so it's pretty damn good.
Mike Williams. I'm looking up right now. Mike Williams free
Mike Williams
agency. I want to see if there's any rumors, anything with him. Okay, here we go. Landing spots, projected contract for Mike Williams, number contract. 81.
I'm sure it's heavy because he's young. He's like 24.
Oh man, the Pats aren't on this list. Well, they don't know anything. So you got the Jaguars. Okay, listen, first of all, he's a free agent, so he gets to pick where he's going. You got the Jags. I'm not picking the Jags if I'm him.
No,
I'm sorry.
God,
Sure, like Trevor Lawrence might end up being someone good. If I'm Mike Williams, I don't want to waste my prime years in Jacksonville with that team.
If Jacksonville was the only team in the league, I wouldn't sign with them. I'd retire.
No, I agree. The Raiders. I mean, Devontae Adams has been slotted to go there, I guess. So I don't see that. The Colts,
no chance that happens either.
The Colts have no idea what they're doing at quarterback because they're going to be moving on from Carson Wentz. So
they should.
I don't know. Like, and if Mike Williams went there, he'd be the only guy in that offense because T.Y. Hilton's leaving.
Michael Pittman.
That's what I was gonna say. Michael Pittman's your only other guy, but still, you're not.
The
Chargers, obviously, he could go back to the Chargers, and then the Falcons are the other team. Which, because they're probably going to be losing Calvin Ridley, but I don't. Again, these are teams he can pick to play for. Like we're going to find out real quick if Mike Williams wants to win or if he wants to take the most money. That's why I like free agency with receivers or players like this, because that's where you find that out. Other than that, his projected contract is a 4-year, basically $70 million deal, $6.7 million per year. He'd be 9th among receivers. I mean, I could see that happening.
That's a lot of money.
That's a big contract. Now, again, that is just your projected. I don't know how that was from CBS. I don't know how they come up with these projected things. Probably just, a bunch of different things with, whatever. But I would like to see him come here. He wouldn't get that. He'd probably get maybe 15, 14, similar to what Aguilar is making. But then again, you got to think, would he be fine with that coming here and being like, I'm making the same as Nelson Aguilar? Not saying anything bad about Nelson Aguilar, but Mike Williams holds himself higher than that. So I don't know. I would love to see Mike Williams here though. Love to see that. He could be your
congregation.
He could be your one. See, the thing is with these Patriots receivers, it's tough to be like, okay, you have 1, 2, 3, because they all do different things. You got Kendrick Bourne, who is more of he can be your little gadget guy. He can also
possession.
And he does your slants. He can go deep if he has to, but no. Then you got Nelson Aguilar, who goes deep. Jacoby Myers, who would be your slot guy. So like Mike Williams would fit here because he could be your everything you want N'Keal Harry to be and more. And you'll notice I did not put N'Keal Harry's name anywhere on the list because
it's a good move.
I don't think he deserves to be mentioned in this podcast.
I think he should be unemployed.
So Mike Williams, I think we are both on the same page. Other than actually so far on this list, I think Mike Williams would be the guy I would want. Because, you don't have the questions like you said about with Chris Godwin, where it's like, do you think that he could be a number one? You don't know for sure. Mike Williams has shown, no matter who his quarterback is, that he could be a number one. So I could see Mike Williams being here. I think he is my front runner right now. So,
that's something.
So far, right? Yeah. So I think next on the list, we have potentially former Dallas Cowboy, Michael Gallup. I like this one.
Yep, I do too.
Would not hate that at all. Michael Gallup, I'm actually curious. What do you think Michael Gallup is slated to get?
I mean,
I don't know.
Mike Williams is 70. I gotta say he's less than that. Michael
Gallup, potential landing spots. Oh, same. I should just keep this website open. Let's see. No, come on. Okay, salary estimate. He's 25 years old, made $5.8 million since being drafted in 2018. His market value, look at that, 11.8 million, right around where Calvin Ridley is.
What
Wouldn't
do you
hate
know?
it. Would not hate that at all. Michael Gallup being here. Potential landing spots. Why are the Falcons? Well, because the Falcons with Ridley could go the
They have a lot of
Falcons,
money.
Eagles, Jaguars, Bears, and Raiders. I can see maybe going to the Bears because the Bears do have what's his name?
Fields.
Yeah. And I know people think Fields is gonna be something good. So
I
would
like
not
what
hate
Gallup offers just as a player overall. He's not spectacular. He's kind of a jack of all trades guy where he's good at everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want that. I have a one of my good friends is a Cowboys fan. He tells me that Michael Gallup, he could be the guy. I know we have someone that works at Couch Guy, Josie.
Also unfortunate.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's unfortunate that she's a Cowboys fan. There's a lot of unfortunate things.
Life could be so much easier.
It could be, but she chooses. These people
Brings
choose to put themselves through this. I don't get it. Just like be a better sports fan. I think is that I don't know. Like
a person.
I don't want to sound crass, but I think that's where I'm at.
I'm with you.
But yeah, I would not hate Michael Gallup at all. I think he might be maybe like my number 2 or 3 person on this list. Actually, I think my number 2 person on this list is going to surprise you who it is. And it's not going to surprise you like Jonas Gray did last week. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, my number 1 guy might come as a surprise to you, but it shouldn't.
Oh, fuck, I know who your number 1 guy is.
He's not on your list.
Oh, he's not. Oh, okay, I thought it was good old Braxton Berrios. Okay.
No, he's number 3. He's unbelievable. I'll do anything for Braxton Berrios.
Oh, God.
I'd give him all of our money, and then we could let Trent Brown, Myers go. He fixes every problem.
I hate the way you think sometimes.
There's
Braxton Berrios. You would have a team full of Braxton Berrioses and Cam Newtons and Carson Wentz's
Duke
and
Johnson.
just the Duke. See, okay, I don't mind Duke Johnson. So okay, but I'm back on. I'm back on the train.
Duke Johnson and Braxton Berrios have in common?
They both went to the U.
They both attended the most prestigious university in all of the collected 50 United States of this fine.
See, I can say that. I don't really care about. I don't pay attention to college sports, so I don't
pay attention to college sports. I pay attention to Miami sports.
Still college sports.
No, it's different.
Okay, so Michael Gallup. Next one, and this is what I actually want to look up. This guy.
I like this a lot.
Okay, you introduce him then because I'm gonna look up his stats.
So this would be this year's Arizona Cardinals' 3rd wide receiver on the depth chart, but he played the majority of time, and he actually had a pretty sneaky good year. The catch volume wasn't there, but he made the most out of little he did. And that would be Christian Kirk. He's young, he's a speedster, and he's another one of those guys, kind of like Kendrick Bourne, who he just screams, give this guy an end around and let him go to work. I've always kind of liked Christian Kirk. I don't know what it is. He's never blown me away, but every game I watch, he seems to have big plays. And whenever he plays the Cowboys, he destroys them. So that's somebody I have to have on my team.
So, yeah, he had 77 catches, 982 yards last year. Even before 2020, 79 catch or 48 catches, but he had 621 yards.
Yeah, the catches are low, but the yards are there.
Catches are low, yeah.
Deep threat.
Yeah, he went from 590, 709, 621, and 982. So he's, I don't know. He's I wouldn't hate this one. And I know that everybody is like is kind of being gung-ho about him. Like it's kind of one of those things. It's like, oh, his market is going to be, really, really, really good. And I never know why. And every time I look up his stats, I say the same thing. I'm like, I guess I kind of get it. Like he's good.
Is he a difference maker though? Is he a difference maker?
No. Because like you said, and I think the reason he won't come here is because of what you said. He is like a Kendrick Bourne where he can kind of do different things. You don't him being on. You don't need him on this team. And if you're going to sign a free agent, you're signing players that you need for positions that you need. That's the whole point of free agency. You overpay in 90% of the cases for players in positions that you need. Christian Kirk doesn't do it. Great player. awesome. I hope he goes somewhere and succeeds. Maybe I hope
If
he
they sign him, I
eclipses
wouldn't
1,000
hate it.
yards. No, me neither. But I would just be like, well, someone's gone then, or something's going to happen. So
Certainly
if he
not
comes
knowing.
here, I think that Jacoby Myers is gone. There's no way he's coming.
Yep. Because Kirk can play the slot too.
Speaking of Arizona receivers, this is the last one I put on there. Andy Isabella from the Cardinals
UMass man
I guess he's going to be shipped out. Everybody's saying that the Bill Belichick, the Patriots should look into him. I fail to see why at all. I don't think he does. I'm looking right now. No, I know last year he played in 8 games last year. He had a whopping 1 catch for 13 yards. 2020, he had 21 catches for 224 yards. Then 2019, he had 9 for 189. I don't see it. I put him in the grouping slightly above, or not slightly, but a group above Gunnar Olszewski. I don't get it. Why? Like, I think it's just a case of anytime a receiver says that he wants to be traded or that he's available, you get that people post that GIF of Belichick walking out of the tunnel. Like he's going to sign him. Put that GIF away for Andy Isabella. Cool. Like, have nothing against him at all. Just, I don't see the purpose for him. I don't know.
I disagree with you on this one.
Nah. Why?
Have you looked at him?
Yes. I just had his thing pulled up.
Did you Google image him?
Let me Google image him.
Please.
Andy. Yeah. I misspelled Andy. Isabella.
Andy,
I put a slash in the middle of it. Why am I looking at him? Why?
What do you notice about him?
I don't know. He looks, I don't know. What does he look? He kind of looks like Mark Sanchez. I don't know.
No, that's not what I was going for at all.
Wait, his number? He's number 17? What?
Nope,
what am I looking at?
The number. Okay. Let me paint you a word picture here.
Okay.
He is a Patriot. First of all, he's white. He's undersized. And he's fast. That fits the 3 criterias. That means he's going to be a skilled special teams player for the Patriots and eventually move into the receiving role. We've seen this before. Welker, Edelman. We can go down the line. Jacoby Myers breaking the mold right now. Love it. But Andy Isabella just screams Patriot, especially went to UMass. Talk about thrown away. Bill is signing people like Chris Hogan, who played college lacrosse. And this dude just screams. I can hear Joe Buck. This guy used to play for UMass Amherst. Can you believe that? Man,
and now he's making play. This is what Belichick does. He just finds these guys. He finds these guys. You pull him from UMass. He had one catch last year, and now all of a sudden he's catching a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
In college, he went 0-16. Now on the Patriots, 16-0. It's
I know,
crazy,
right?
people. Yeah, it's
look
like
at that.
It screams Patriot. And I like this guy a lot, mostly because he came out of the zoo, and that means he probably did a lot of drugs and alcohol and other extracurricular activities.
He looks like he did.
Looks like he gets wild.
Yeah, he looks like that guy that like knows, like when he goes out, he's like, oh yeah, we're going out. All right,
he looks like somebody who funnels brews with the boys, and that's another reason why I love him. But if you watch him play, and in the small sample size that he has, he's dynamic. He makes big plays. He's just one of those guys. Like Rondale Moore took over that for him this year, and that's why he didn't really blow up. But he's got it going. It's just kind of like you got to look and see with each one of his plays, because he plays a lot better than the stats say. Yeah. There's a lot of potential there, is what I'm saying. You watch him in the Cardinals offense, and you're like, this guy's underutilized, mostly because they have an abundance of riches at the receiver position. Mm-hmm. But he could be something, and I'm a huge fan. This guy screams Patriot. Would you take Andy Isabella over Jacoby Myers? Because that's probably what's going to happen. If you take these but if Jacoby's out the door regardless, then yes.
Then you would take him.
I'd love to have him. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, if they, and again, I'm kind of one of those people where I have my opinion about what happens, but if Belichick signs someone, I'm gonna be like, okay, how
You
is this
ride
gonna
with
work?
Bill.
Like, let's see. Yeah, now again, if it's an egregious signing or something, I'm gonna be like, what the hell is this? But I don't. My balls don't get tingly over him like everybody else's does apparently, but I don't
You're
know.
just not watching enough film. After this,
That's
I
it. Yeah.
implore you to go look up Andy
Send
Isabella.
me
It'll be a
send me the all
5-minute
22.
highlight video. I will.
Okay.
It'll be real easy to find, real short. You could do it while you're pissing. It'll be so quick, but there'll be dynamic plays. I swear, you'll step back, you'll look at that screen.
No,
Go,
I
wow.
remember hearing his name, and I do I know that he is like a nifty little player, but I don't know.
Nifty.
We'll see. Yeah.
Word.
Next one. This is actually my number 2, I think, or maybe 3, depending on where I slot some other people.
I don't like where this is going.
Isaiah Mckenzie. So he is coming from the Bills. He torched the Patriots. I'm pretty sure we all remember this. Isaiah Mckenzie is what this offense needs. They need a fast receiver who isn't just a track star. They need a fast receiver who can actually catch screen. You know how much the Patriots like to run screens. That's all Isaiah Mckenzie does. Screens, slant passes, send them deep. I would love to have Isaiah Mckenzie on the team. Now, again, I don't want him necessarily over anybody on the team, but if you are going to run it back, or if you get rid of Aguilar and get Ridley or something, would not hate Isaiah Mckenzie being on the team. I don't think that he is that difference maker that sends you over the top, but I think he is a very nice piece to have, a nice change of pace in the offense. Different from almost anybody we've talked about. He is very fast, very, very fast.
Very fast. Yeah. I'm not sold on very fast.
Yeah, no, me neither. But he can also catch the ball. That's the thing. And I think I'm ready to see what this Patriots offense, what Mac Jones looks like with someone who can just strictly outrun people, and he's also a really good route runner as well. Isaiah Mckenzie, I would like to see him come here.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it one bit. I'm not buying it.
Because he's coming from Buffalo, isn't it? Buffalo sucks.
It is. That's solely it. I don't think he's spectacular in any sense of the word. Just like the city of Buffalo, I think he's meager and downtrodden.
Meager and downtrodden. Gee, those are harsh words. Those are harsh college words. So he
doesn't excite me at all. He had 4 touchdowns against the Chiefs, and I wasn't excited. I wasn't blown away.
He had like the majority of his yards against the Patriots. He had 20 catches last year for $178. Never eclipsed 300 yards. He's been in the league since 2017. He's been on only 2 teams.
Who did he start with?
Denver. Saying it, I can see it now. Yeah, I can see him. I remember him being there, but I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't like I said, I don't want any of these guys that we're going to be talking about over the guys that we have.
Yeah.
But I definitely
don't even want him as a depth signing.
I wouldn't hate it. I would like to see him there. But again, I think it's just I might be a prisoner of the moment because I do just want to see some speed on this offense. They have really good players, but I just want to see that extra thing. And I hate to say it because it sounds like a gimmick and it's the go-to hot phrase and everything, but someone who can kind of take the top off the defense. I know that's what Aguilar does, but Mckenzie's speed is just a game breaker. I think that's a different thing, but that's kind of where we differ.
If we're going to talk about speed, then we're talking about the number 1 receiver that's on my list.
Okay. Who is it? Say it.
His nickname, the human can opener, because he takes the top off defenses. Clean cut, long and deep, thrives in the deep touchdown market. In fact, he is second on the list for the most. I think it's 50 or 80-yard touchdowns. I think it's 50. Most 50-yard catches in history.
Oh, no. Who?
I've been dreaming of this guy in the Patriots uniform since I was a wee lad.
I know. Of course you picked this guy. Of course you picked this guy.
Sir Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson. It's time. The time is now, Bill. make a move, make a championship move. We get Deshaun Jackson, we're instantly Super Bowl favorites.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not
Listen,
kidding you one bit.
I know he played on the Eagles, but get that out of your head.
You don't understand. Deshaun Jackson's the man. Deshaun Jackson's the man. I don't even have to pull up the stats.
I hate it.
He's fantastic. He killed it on the Rams and on the Raiders this year. He's still got so much in the tank. All he needs to do is run deep. And that's all he does. And he does it well. I mean, well, better than anyone else. I will lie, cheat, beg, borrow, and steal to get Deshaun Jackson in Foxborough.
I don't agree with you. This is
preposterous. What's there not to like? He'd be
him.
It'd be a 1-year deal. He's the man. He is the man. I would let him tuck my kids into bed at night.
Yeah, he would probably drop them before he got to the bed. Do you think Deshaun Jackson, though? Actually, you know what? I can't even shit. I feel like I'm somewhat coming around on this. Okay, listen. So you got me because you said that he takes the top off the defense. And I know that.
Can opener.
I know, but you got me I know you had the cool little sound effect when you said it too.
100%.
I could see. See now
that's the sound of metal bending.
I'm just thinking about Mac Jones chucking it deep to Deshaun Jackson. And now
Is it perfect?
Like, well, shit. Now I might be
that could happen like seven times a season. And I mean, you put him at kick returner too, which is a little more risky because he's more injury prone toward the end. And in his late Eagles tenure, he did get hurt twice returning kicks. So maybe he's not best for the kick return game anymore. But hell, he is a one-trick pony, but that trick works every time. It's like if you have a clown at your birthday party, but the clown can make Ferraris out of balloons. That's perfect. That's what Deshaun Jackson can do, because that will never get old. And Deshaun Jackson running deep will never get old. It will never lose its luster, its flair. It puts asses in seats. It wins you games, and it helps your quarterback.
Okay, let's see where people think Deshaun Jackson is going to go, because
people are ridiculous.
I haven't even heard like anything about him or anything like that at all.
People don't want to win.
Let me see. Oh, wait, no, that was
a championship is a minimum contract signing away for just about every team.
You're so stupid.
No, I'm not even trying to hyperbolate here. Like, I'm completely serious. Deshaun Jackson is the man. He's the total package, and by total package, I mean he can run deep, and fuck, he does that well.
Oh shit! This I was wondering why Marquise Colston was on this, and I was like, oh, this is from 2012. That's probably why.
God, I do love me some Marquise Colston too. I'd bring him back out of retirement too, if that means anything. I'd take him over most of these guys.
Yeah, no, I liked him. God damn, I can't find one that's recent. I don't know where that CBS thing is, but
winners have been signing to not the Raiders, but the Rams signed him to start the season because they had plans to go to the Super Bowl, and they did. They cut him, which was not a great move. I'm sure McVay regretted that almost immediately, but he went out and balled out for the Raiders too.
Okay. I'm back on the site. Found it. All right. So he could go. Yeah, obviously the Rams. He might want to go to the Rams. Blah blah blah. We're looking at the Colts. I don't know why he'd want to go to the Colts.
No.
The Raiders are in on every single receiver, apparently.
Yeah. So that's a mute point.
The Chiefs are in there. The Chiefs don't. That'd be dumb if you went to the Chiefs. Oh, and that's pretty much it. So
that'd be sick. If you went to the Chiefs, then Mahomes, another 50 tubs, Super Bowl, maybe undefeated season.
Well, yeah, because he's got him and Tyreek Hill taking the top off, opening the can on both sides.
That. They both run deep. You can't cover both.
I wouldn't hate it. Like, I guess, see, this is how easy it is to get me to like kind of change my mind about certain receivers. If you just tell me that he's fast and he's good, and I know he is, I could see it happening.
Not only is he fast, not only is he good, he's a stud.
He is not a stud, not anymore. He is not a stud.
You can do anything.
Listen here. Go
You give him
flap
an
your
end around,
Eagles
it's going to
wings
the
somewhere
house.
else.
It's going to the house.
Yeah, okay. No. You're trying to give him a reach around. That's how much you like him.
This dude says the word house more than a real estate agent.
Listen. No. Deshaun Jackson is not coming here.
Kickoff, hits his hands, house. End around. The second the ball touches from quarterback to Deshaun, house. Ball is in the air, doesn't even have to touch his hands yet. House.
Okay. Yeah.
Gone.
So okay.
Later.
So if Deshaun Jackson comes, I wouldn't hate it because he would be able to slide in with everybody.
He's the man.
I don't want him here. I think that there's plenty of other options to bring, but he is a proven, still good deep threat. I will not call him a winner. I will call him a deep threat.
Winner. Everywhere he goes, he does nothing but win.
That is just false. That is just false. That's false information.
I don't think he's ever missed the playoffs. I don't think so ever.
Has he ever won?
Actually, he has missed the playoffs.
Yeah, look at that. That. Well, of course he did. He was on the Eagles, and the Eagles are trash. Trash team, trash city, trash former quarterback.
I was thinking when he was on the Skins, but yeah, that one hurts.
I forgot he was on the Skins.
I will never.
The Commanders.
He caught a deep touchdown against the Eagles, did the Eagles celebration, then kicked the football out of the stadium and got ejected. I remember that. Yeah, no, I remember, upset. I remember him kicking it out. Okay, Deshaun Jackson. I didn't have him on there. He was my number one option.
Even though I don't want him to, I could see the Pats at least kicking the tires on him just to kind of see like where he's at. You know, like, hey, would you come here on
that he's at the speed of a prime 22-year-old.
Okay. All right. So yeah, no, we are moving on. This one, this and I don't really. Everybody loves this guy, and I think it's just because that stupid Baby Shark song, and everybody like cream themselves over it.
I still love this guy.
The Baby Shark did. I don't know it. Like I missed that whole wave too. I just saw it happen from a distance. DJ Chark Jr. Everybody like I don't know. Everybody's gung ho about him. I guess he did have a good last couple of years. 2019,
2 years ago, 2019.
Yeah. So, was sick. But DJ Chark, I feel like the Patriots are going to get outbid on him. I mean, would you want him here though? I guess that's really the question that we're asking.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, big body receiver has shown that he can ball out. I think more or less, unfortunately, he's a system player. So last year he didn't do so well because Trevor Lawrence is atrocious. Killed it the year before then because he had the greatest quarterback ever and Nick Foles throwing to him. And the year before that, he definitely did really well as well. Gardner Minshew, of course, is a stud. I think maybe I mixed those up. It was Foles and then Minshew, but it doesn't matter. They're both great. And so as long as he's got a stable offense in place, DJ Chark's a baller. And he's very young. What is he, 24? Do you have his age up?
Yeah, got his age. Yes, he is 20. Oh, wait, shit. Hold on. 47th ranked, blah, blah, blah. Hold on. Oh, people are saying he's going to go with the Eagles, by the way. He was born in 96, so he's 25.
Oh, sweet. He's about to be my age. Yeah, so he's still young. A lot of tread on the tires. And he's just one of those guys where he's underrated. And I don't think there's going to be much of a market for him just because there are so many other names on this list that people are going to be going after. I mean, playoffs is what gets you a big contract. So when Isaiah Mckenzie smoked the Patriots and then had 4 touchdowns against the Chiefs, he's going to get a bigger deal than most of these guys.
Yep.
Christian Kirk's going to get a big one. Michael Gallup is definitely going to get a decent contract. Mike Williams, big contract. AJ Green, maybe off the name, he'll get something. And then Odell's a big name. Will Fuller isn't getting shit. Juju sucks. But a lot of these names are more dynamic than DJ Chark. Like, that's not a household. That's not a pretty name. I think this dude flies under the radar. I think he is one of the more likely names to go to the Patriots. He just seems like one of those guys that kind of shuts the hell up and does his job. And that is exactly what Bill loves.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know enough about him other than just the stats and kind of like the highlights that I've seen. Wouldn't hate it. I think he'd be a nice piece in here. I think he doesn't excite me like some of the other guys would. But I do think he would be a nice, valuable piece to be in here. Just to kind of.
The thing is, you always got to think about fit too. in an offense. Like, I think he'd fit all right, but then it's also like, I think he'd only fit if we lost one of our wide receivers, because then it's just a packed room. What are you going to make Nelly only a deep threat, or like take away Kendrick Bourne's catches? No, you can't do any one of those. So it all just depends on where Myers goes for most of these guys, because I think Kirk would be a bad fit if we just stuffed him in the room with all the guys we got now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
because at that point you have too many people. You have too many, because I mean, you're not paying Aguilar just to run deep routes. You're not paying Kendrick Bourne just to do, jet sweeps, even though he's the best at it, or like, things like that. You're not, you wouldn't be bringing back Jacoby Myers to not have him be at the very least take the same role he has now, which is a pretty prominent role. Yeah. So I don't know. If he comes back, one of them would be gone. So I don't know how much I like that. So DJ Chark, meh. Braxton Berrios, we're not going to talk about him. I only put him on the list. I only put Gunner 2.0 or Gunner 1.0.
No,
get him
significantly better. Jerry Rice 2.0. Unbelievable.
Oh my God. No, Braxton Berrios
also knows the system. Already played with the Patriots. Bill loved what he saw. The only reason he left was because the Jets offered him the bag. This is a classic Patriots player. He's coming back. And when he does, and I have a Braxton Berrios jersey. I'll wear it on every podcast.
Okay. If he comes back, you have to do that. We're saying it right now. Episode 32, you said that. And then the last one I have on the free agent list, put him on here just because he is kind of a name. He reminds me of AJ Green. Put T.Y. Hilton, where his skills have fallen off. That be due to injury, due to age, what's going on. T.Y. Hilton has told the Colts that he does want to come back and play. So I'm sure the Colts are going to try to get him back. T.Y. Hilton does nothing for me. Don't want him. Don't really care much for him. If this was T.Y. Hilton of 3 or 4 years ago, give me him. Fast, all that fun stuff, dynamic, great. This T.Y. Hilton, let him stay with the Colts. I am done with him.
More or less useful than AJ Green.
Oh God, these are the names where it's like in fantasy, if you have to start someone, it's between them. You're like, oh God,
I'm fucked.
Yeah, I'm like, I got to actually rely on one of these guys. I am going. I don't. No. Shit. Hold on. Let me think. 1, 2, 3 more. I would say more, I think. Yeah, more. Just because
defend yourself.
Because from what I saw from AJ Green, he like half the time it doesn't look like he wants to play football half the time. Which is like a weird,
like he's kind of lost his flair.
Yeah, which is a weird thing. So even if AJ Green still has more talent left in the tank, which I think he does, I just don't think that he'd be able to find it. And I don't think that AJ Green being coached hard by Bill Belichick in the twilight of his career is going to bring that out of him. I think T.Y. Hilton would be slightly better, but I still don't want either one of them, really. I still don't. I don't know. But like again, I wouldn't hate any of the guys on this list for the most part, but like there's just different levels of excitedness I would have. I wouldn't be too pumped for T.Y. Hilton. I'd be like, oh, that to me would be like Reggie Wayne. When you get him and it's like, oh, it's a name. I
was hyped.
So was I.
Hyped.
Oh, I was like, oh, Brady's going to win now with Peyton Manning's guy. No, Reggie Wayne didn't even make it to the season.
No, didn't even make it to the second preseason game.
No.
Embarrassing.
Nope. So I don't know. What do you feel? How do you feel about T.Y.?
I think he's actually still got a decent amount of tread on the tires. Definitely more than AJ Green. It wouldn't be much of a contest for me between the two, just because speed doesn't really go away like that unless you're tearing up your knees every other year, which he hasn't. His injuries have been like elbows and kind of insignificant things like that. He's never had any career devastating injuries. He's just getting old, but he's aging fairly gracefully. Just like I was going to say Deshaun Jackson, but they're not even in the same league. Just like another fast guy on this list, speed kills, and T.Y. Hilton's always been a speedster.
Yeah. Like I said, I wouldn't hate it, but I don't want it. I think that should be a last resort, kind of like the AJ Green thing, where it's like if you swing and miss on everybody, let's just grab someone just to bring him in camp and see what happens. So other than that, Trade wise, Calvin Ridley, we already went over. We don't need to beat a dead horse with Calvin Ridley.
This next one, I love it. Love it.
I forgot I had him on the potential trade thing. I would take him over the majority of people other than Mike Williams. Brandon Cooks.
Yep.
Bring him over. He's due $12.5 million. He wants to get traded. The Saints are probably going to end up trading him. He had 90 catches, over 1,000 yards once again, because that's all Brandon Cooks does. Brandon Cooks is what this offense needs.
Yeah.
Right? Someone who can
bring him back too in the post-Brady era would just be the sweetest harmony.
Would love it. I think like I said, I forgot I had him on this list. I want, if not Calvin Ridley, I want Brandon Cooks. Yeah. Give me Brandon Cooks on this team.
It's crazy how no one talks about him. Like, no one gives a shit about Brandon Cooks. And it's not just because he's on the Texans, because no one really gave a shit about him when he was in LA either.
Nope.
He was only really big in New Orleans and then in New England for a year until got bounced out of New England by Malcolm X. But that's all right. That happens.
Yeah.
But he is sneaky having an incredible career. Like 8 seasons, only 2 of them he was less than 1,000 yards.
It does. I think it's because he's bounced around so much. People don't talk about him.
Yeah.
But you can't, like, and I think 6 touchdowns? 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with 6 touchdowns. Texans,
they had like 3 different quarterbacks.
Oh my God. I would take Brandon Cooks in a heartbeat. He would come here too. Well, I guess he doesn't really have a choice because he would have to get traded here. But still, give me Brandon Cooks all day. All day, give me Brandon Cooks. I would love that.
I wonder why he bounces around, because I never understood why he left New Orleans. They got rid of him because Michael Thomas was emerging, but why wouldn't you keep 2 great young wide receivers? And then he goes to the Patriots, crushes it, 7 tubs, just over 1,000 yards. Then he goes to LA, first year with LA again, 1,000 yards, 5 tubs, kills it. Then he has an off year. I think he was hurt most of that year. 600 yards, 2 tubs, and then boom, right back with most yards. Just second career high in yards with 1,156 tubs, back-to-back years with 6 touchdowns. I never understand what teams are thinking getting rid of this guy and moving him around. He is a number 1 wide receiver.
It's weird that he does keep moving around. Like you said, I don't get it, but his production's there. He works in this offense. He loves playing here. He was one of the ones who was like, if you don't like playing in New England, you just don't like hard work. Like, that's on you. Bring Brandon Cooks back. If you can, if you can somehow get him, I don't know what the Texans would take for him. I mean, they'd probably take a 4th round pick or something. I mean, can you just give him like N'Keal Harry? Can you just do that just straight up? Like N'Keal Harry and Chase
the Texans, I wouldn't be surprised. They traded DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson. So
well, I mean, they got what's his name, Nick Caserio over there, who used to be with the Pats. So maybe he can talk to Bill. Hey, send me over. Give me a 4th round pick. Will be good. I would love that.
I'll scratch yours.
I would love that. That's actually how they shake hands down in Texas. It's no longer crazy with the hands. They just kind of boop, boop, boop.
I've been planning to move down there, so I'll have to practice that one, I guess.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Get ready for that. So the next one, actually the next 2, DK Metcalf, kind of one of those pipe dreams, because the Seahawks are saying that they're not going to trade Russell Wilson, which means they're not going to trade DK Metcalf. Yeah. I think the only way he's available is if Russell Wilson goes. If he goes, I think the Seahawks are in fire sale mode. I think they get rid of DK. I would love to have him. He's only due $4.3 million next year. Then he's going to get a huge contract. But I just don't see it happen. This is more of a pipe dream, pie in the sky thing. I would take him if the option was there for him to come here. Obviously. He'd be in my top 3. I put him before Brandon.
That goes without saying, though. He's one of the better wide receivers in the league. I think every single team, there are 31 teams and 31 fan bases that are all saying we would take DK Metcalf. But like you said, it's mostly just a dream, especially if I'm the Seahawks. Like, why would I get rid of this dude? He's built like a brick shit house. He can catch the ball. There's no scenario where I get rid of him. Even if they trade Russell Wilson, I'd be like, you hold on. We're getting you a quarterback.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you're
keep
staying
him.
here.
Yeah, bring in. I don't know. You can maybe if you can lure Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy G, Kyler Murray apparently wants to leave, so if you want to bring Kyler Murray in, but yeah, I
swap
would.
the two. Send Russ to Cards.
That's a good way to put it. I would keep DK Metcalf to kind of usher in the new quarterback, but that's not how a lot of teams think.
No.
They want to like fire sale and then start from the bottom, and it never, ever works.
Never works out. Yeah.
Yeah, DK
Cowboys
Metcalf would be great.
They're still recovering.
Well, I mean, Dak and Zeke. Now we have the last one I put. I don't want this guy, Jarvis Landry. Do $16.3 million next year. That's a lot of money. Jarvis Landry is good. I did want him a couple of years ago. Last year he had 52 catches, 570 and 2 touchdowns. He only played in 10 games, I think 9 or 10 games. Do you want Jarvis Landry?
I do
on this team.
I would take him over Jacoby Myers. And if Jacoby Myers goes, this is all the more reason to get him. If I had to choose flat out between the two, I'm picking him. If Jacoby Myers goes, then I'm definitely wanting to trade for him. He's a great slot receiver, great locker room guy. He seems like he's a super genuine dude. And he's got hands of God. I've seen him make crazy catches.
He does.
So there's not a whole lot to not like about him. The numbers are fairly unspectacular, but he's a slot receiver, and Baker Mayfield had a pretty bad year this year. So it's a situational type thing. How well can you do in Cleveland? Really, not well.
Not well.
Ask anyone who lives in Cleveland. No one does well if they're born in Cleveland, besides LeBron. Fuck that guy. But no, I would love Jarvis Landry. He's like a staple, and to me, he's so consistent in his play and his attitude that I would love him on the Patriots. He seems like Matthew Judon, where his high energy and kind of fun-loving would be. Judon's that for the defense. Juice could be that for the offense. I actually should stop calling him Juice. I hate that that's his nickname. That nickname is reserved for the only O.J. Simpson. No one but.
Do you think Jarvis Landry is that guy? If you pair him with Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, do you think that's a receiving core that you can ride with, along with the other options on the offense, to the Super Bowl or in a deep playoff run? Because at the end of the day, that's the question. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's 100%. That's all we're looking for. Super Bowls here. What are we looking for? To make the playoffs? No, that's a standard. No. Deep playoff run, also a standard. No, we're talking about Super Bowls. No. In most cases, I'd say no. Like, if this was the Falcons receiving core, I'd be like, they're fucked. I would say they're flat out fucked. If this was the Dolphins receiving core, they ain't doing shit. Hell, you could put Mac Jones on those teams too, and I'd still say they're probably fucked. Just something about the Patriots, man. Magic happens. Paired with a great run game too, which those other teams I wouldn't give to those other teams. Anything's possible. I think he definitely, obviously, and I hate to say it, gives you more touchdowns than Jacoby Myers. Jarvis Landry is going to score more touchdowns than Jacoby Myers. Didn't happen this year. I think they both had 2 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, which is weird. But the thing is, Landry did that without even playing the whole year. Myers did. So it's like,
missed 4 games. Yeah, exactly. So he far and away gives you more touchdowns. In the end, it is basically all about touchdowns. It's about putting points on the board. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like when you're drafting a player and you're like, they have the intangibles. No one knows what the fuck that means. That's just your way of saying they got it. This receiving core to me would have intangibles. And I don't know what that means. I can just see this receiving core doing wonders. I mean, you have Kendrick Bourne, who was a starting wide receiver for a Super Bowl team. Nelson Aguilar breaking fucking Super Bowl records. And then Jarvis Landry, who's a proven great slot receiver. Something about that. Just the pairing. I like it. I like it a lot.
That's a good wide receiver room. That's a room, Aguilar, good guy. Kendrick Bourne.
So you're confident this is a Super Bowl receiving core?
See, I there's something about Landry that makes me hold back. I don't know what it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's injury. Like in my head, maybe he gets injured too much. I don't know what it is, but I would like him. If I had to pick between him and Myers, I would pick Myers. But I will straight up tell you that is my bias coming out. if I took that out, I would definitely pick Jarvis Landry.
Juice.
But yeah, I mean, 16.3 mil is a big hit, though. They'd have to do something about that.
Yeah,
So,
that's a lot. Restructure that broad.
With all the free agents that we listed, because we're gonna before we dip on out in until next week. Top 3 free agents you think the Patriots should go after? Wide receivers. That would make this wide receiver room capable of going to the Super Bowl. Because like you said, that's all it is. We're not like the Bills. We don't like consolation prizes. Going to the Super Bowl, that's where you want to be. Top 3.
Yeah, and I'm going to try and consider money here too and be fairly realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1's obviously Deshaun Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say he's in a tier of his own because that's a given. So we'll put number 1 as Mike Williams. Mike Williams would be great. The thing is the money. So I don't know how realistic that is. If we get him, then that's a slam dunk, clear cut, unbelievable signing. Mm-hmm. I just don't know how we make the money work. I have him at 1, but it's almost like it's a far-fetched 1.
Yeah,
I guess. After that, I really like the fact that Michael Gallup would fit perfectly money-wise and as a player. I feel like he's just one of those players where we haven't seen – there's a lot of untapped potential there because he's always the third wide receiver. He's not getting the opportunities. When he does, he has made tremendous plays over the years. I've watched him, unfortunately, far too much, and he is a baller. So he would be my number 2. And then my number 3, again, sticking with being realistic here. This is tough. I'm going to have to go with DJ Chark. Something about him too seems like a Patriots guy. Like if we're talking free agents, like I said, I think he flies under the radar for a lot of other teams. And Bill sees him and goes, this is day 3 of free agency. No one has got this guy, or, it's a week into free agency. No one's got this guy. What's the deal here? Maybe inquires to him. Hey, you've never won anything. We win a lot.
You've never won anything.
Ever. Not once.
Hey.
I don't even think he's won on a scratch ticket. Why don't you come over here?
All right. I mean, that's a top 3 that makes sense. That's a good list.
Yeah. See, I tried to keep it realistic. Obviously, if I could, I'd go right down the list of Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, Devontae Adams.
Oh yeah, of course. That would be.
Yeah, I'd have to walk through my wardrobe and ask Mr. Tumnus too for a glass of milk.
Okay, so so if we're going kind of everything you said, kind of taking a look at money, those top 3 guys are out of it.
You say Juju, I'm turning this podcast off right now, and you're ending this podcast on your own.
Juju is on my list, but he's not there. So I think
leaving this meeting.
I would say
I can't believe you.
I don't want it to be. No, I'm sorry, dude.
It really do be your own, don't it?
It do be your own. Juju is the number 1 for me. Not necessarily because he's not the number 1 that I want, but I'm putting all the factors into a big, that I'm swirling it around like a witch. Juju Smith-Schuster. I think he's the number 1 if they go free agent, which, by the way, I don't think if the Patriots sign a big name guy, it's going to be via trade. But since we're talking about free agents, Juju, I think, is 1. Mike Williams, number 2 for me, because Mike Williams is probably the guy out of this list that I want the most to come here. Would love to see him come here. And
How
then
realistic is it? It's
yeah, it's one of those things where they'd have to.
It could happen, but they'd have to work cap magic.
Yeah, they'd have to. He'd have to take a lower number this year. They'd have to do all that fun stuff. And then I think the next one on the list, Isaiah Mckenzie. I could see him coming here. I could see him coming here.
Sickening to think. I would do a podcast with you weekly.
When I want Juju and Isaiah Mckenzie on the team. And
did you ever watch The Sopranos? Were you a big Sopranos guy?
Yeah, my dad made me watch it with him like halfway through the show. So
okay. Well, I feel like I'm in an episode of Sopranos where my own family member kills me because I thought I could trust you, and here you are.
Listen, I am family. You know why? Because I tell you the truth, no matter if you want to hear it or not. That's what it is. But what I will tell you, though, out of all those guys, the if you want to go like my list out of just full on receivers that I think the Patriots might get, we're going Calvin Ridley, Brandon Cooks, and then Juju. I think those are the three, because I think Ridley is number one on their list. I think he is. Juju is still on the list. I think he's number one on the list. I think Brandon Cooks is always there because the relationship's there. They could trade with the Texans. They've traded with the Texans before. And then Juju, just because I don't think he's going to get a huge contract. I think that he could end up coming here because it might be one of those things where you said similar to DJ Chark, where it's like, you know, a week into free agency, 10 days, and, you know, Juju still isn't signed. Belichick's like, hey, if you want to come here, we'll give you, you know, $7 million, couple incentives.
We're not offering you what the Jets would, but
no, but, you know, we're offering you a better life, just a better quality of life is what we offer.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
But yeah, so that's my list. I guess Mike Williams would be the best choice for you, though, right? That's who you want on this team.
Yeah, in a perfect world, if money didn't exist and we didn't have to worry about cap, I'd throw everything at Mike Williams, because he's the only one on this list that I look at besides clear-cut number ones like Allen, Goodwin, and Adams. He's the only one on this list that I could see booming into a clear-cut number one wide receiver, like becoming that guy where everyone talks about Mac Jones and Mike Williams, and it's like the rest of the receivers are kind of along for the ride. Like, yes, Mac spreads the ball around really well. Hell, he'll still be throwing it to the running backs. He'll still be throwing it to the tight ends, but there will be a significant. Everyone else will be in like the 600-yard mark for wide receivers, and then he would be, you know, a step above that with 900 or 1,000 or something
almost
like
1,000.
Yeah. And then it'd be like everyone else has like 5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. And then Mike Williams would have like 10 or 11.
Yeah. I could see that. Again, wouldn't hate it. I would love to have him here. I do think the Patriots are going to do a bunch of stuff at the wide receiver position, whether it's trade. I definitely think they're drafting people. But free agent, it'd be interesting to see if they sign anybody, see if they could bid anybody out there and get them. But I think that's all we got today. You got anything else? Any parting words to the wise before we depart? Oh God, what do you got?
I implore all Patriots fans to go on Twitter and preach, protest, come together, join hands in getting Deshaun Jackson to Foxborough. Just clasp hands.
Or you could say bring back Brandon Cooks. You could say that.
Just say Deshaun.
Don't do that. I'm telling you all to not do that. So we don't want.
Just telling you. It's like
exactly. We want
winners. $3 million deal. A championship is a $3 million deal away.
Oh my goodness. Okay, for Liam Jackson, because I feel like he's a part of Deshaun Jackson's family. I'm Mike Sullivan. This was Tuck Rule Takes, episode 32, the Devin McCourty episode. That's it. Hopefully next time we talk to you, Deshaun Jackson has retired and we don't have to hear Liam talk about it anymore.
Never.
That's it. I'll
play until I'm 50.
Sweet V.